Welcome to the Fulhamish quick take after a 3-0 home defeat by Brentford. This is about as bleak as it gets, to be honest. Neither of us really want to be here, although thanks to the craft beer company for the hospitality today. Drew, hello.
Hello, it's so bad that I'm off the beer, I'm on the gin and tonic. It's been one of the worst Premier League days since we were really bad in the Premier League, because I'd forgotten what that was like.
Yeah, I must admit I've forgotten what it's been like to be shit, but yeah, we certainly witnessed it today. Local derby, first game at home of the season, everything was really exciting. Pre-kickoff, we had players like Polina coming back, and I mean, Drew, I'm not sure what else could have happened today to go worse, added to the fact that if we didn't know it already, Mitrovic is basically gone.
Yeah, I think we're like one ACL injury away from it being even the worst day that you could possibly have. But aside from that, it was terrible. And the annoying thing was, it was mostly all of our own doing. I don't think that Brentford side, and it sounds sour grapes now, I don't think it's that as good as it was last season at all. I think the first half we were in control, but we didn't really have any cutting edge, and it all just went to shit with the Diop mistake. And we all make them. I'm not gonna harangue him for that, but it obviously changed the game, sucked the air out of the hammy end for sure. And after that, I always thought whoever scored the first would probably get 2 or 3, and so it proved.
I mean, you say you don't want to hand out Diop, and look, as you say, everyone does make mistakes, and Diop has had a good career for us so far at Fulham. The mistakes that we saw at West Ham haven't happened, but I mean, it's the most killer. It's just the timing, isn't it? The 44th minute as well. And I was thinking going into half-time, we hadn't been spectacular, but also I thought we were in a good position. 0-0 half-time, subs to come on second half. We kind of weathered a bit of a Brentford storm early on. Everything kind of looked rosy at that point, and it's just so needless, so innocuous, and so careless.
Yeah, we were solid but not spectacular. But when that happened, it just went silent, and I could just I hear my own voice saying, "Oh no," and it was just rang out clear as day. And then obviously he knew straight away. And yeah, it's handing the game to them on a platter, because after that, I think that just put the wind up and completely took the wind out of ourselves. They go in at the break 1-up, which they would not have expected. I don't think anybody did. And then obviously it just changes the game, because I think it starts to get to us in the second half. You can see there's sort of like you can see with Diop as well, when he's unchallenged on the ball, a little bit of panic. It's obviously affecting everybody. It's getting in their heads, and it's all about momentum, isn't it? And we've seen time and again that Fulham sides throughout history, particularly this one as well, we're a confident side sometimes, and I think we just sort of lost our heads a little bit. And then obviously, to be honest, the referee didn't help. I think as well, it's always when you lose these games, it always sounds like sour grapes, but I think that was his second Premier League game, and it should be his last. He was absolutely atrocious. I don't even know his name, but he was awful.
Yeah, I'd have rather had the guy that didn't make the penalty call for Wolves last week. Might as well have just had him in instead. Yeah, I mean, if there was one sucker punch, which was the mistake by Diop, the second was the penalty. Just moments as well after Fulham had hit the bar. I mean, this is the kind of beauty and the curse of doing these things so soon after the final whistle. I haven't seen a replay of the penalty. It looked soft, and if it wasn't bad enough that they had a penalty to make it 2-0, for then Ream to get a second yellow and be sent off, from what we've seen, what we've read, it seems incredibly soft, nothing that would ever be overturned by VAR, but yeah, the luck's not on our side there, is it?
No, absolutely not. I did see the replay, and he barely touched him. There's a resting arm on the shoulder, but it's not pulling. He lifts the arms up straight away, and the guy goes to ground so easily. It's not, for me, it's not a penalty, but also, why is it a second yellow? It just completely baffles me. Especially when the referee knows the game, the stage of the game, and what that will do. It just seems completely unnecessary and slightly vindictive to give the second yellow. It's like, you'll see it, and you'll see what I mean. It does baffle me. I'm not really sure, especially, we always talk about not that type of player. I don't know. It just seemed really odd, and I think that was what the confusion was all about. Like everybody was just like completely confused. I thought it was a straight red because he looked like he had both cards and showed the red first, and it was all just a bit of a cluster, really, wasn't it?
I mean, I must admit, I didn't know that Ream was on a booking. That totally passed me by. So, and there was talk of in the Hammersmith end that it was for dissent. It wasn't. It was for the challenge. I mean, that's what happens when things are at the other end of the pitch. You kind of have half an idea of what's going on. But I mean, there were some decisions today, aside from bad luck, bad timing, that I didn't fully agree with. I would have brought in Bassi for this one. I certainly would have brought him on at half time, knowing that Ream had a yellow. Yeah, I know hindsight's a wonderful thing. And a worrying performance, I feel like, from Raul Jimenez. Tried hard, there's certainly no doubting the effort. Had a couple of flashes where you were like, but oh my God, if he's going to be leading the line this season, we have 16th written all over us.
I didn't. Oh, I take it, to be honest, after today. But I did. Yeah, there was a lack of focal point, wasn't there? It's a sad thing on the day that we're going to finally lose Mitro, and they may as well get that announcement out tonight. Like, take the vitriol, take the anger. Like, don't wait, don't do it tomorrow. But anyway, Raul. Yeah, every time I looked up, he was sort of drifting out wide. When he had the ball, he's very one-footed, and it just wasn't for me. A very good performance at all. And it's a shame because I'm willing it to go as well as anyone else is because, obviously we know that there was a striker there, but, maybe it was just a bad day at the office for everybody. But, yeah, for me, it's it's going to be a difficult one. And then, obviously, you bring on Rodrigo Muniz at the end instead of Vinicius. But I kind of get that in a way because he would chase down everything. He was up, he had a point to prove, and I think we needed a little bit of gumption up top because I think there was a bit of a nervousness about Raul today. And it, with what happened on the pitch, it didn't get any better for him. So it's a shame.
It's not a great time to be Carlos Vinicius, though, is it? When Rodrigo Muniz is coming on as striker number 3, you've got to be wondering what's he done. I feel like all the pranks that Vinicius has done has finally caught up with him. Maybe Marco Silva's maybe pulled his pants down in training or something like that. It's just one joke too far. Vinicius must be livid watching Rodrigo Muniz come on ahead of him.
There's a couple of ways I guess you could look at it. At that point, I don't think we were really going to get anything from the games, and maybe he knows what type of a player Carlos is, and if he sends him in to do a futile job, maybe he knows that'll do him more damage in the long term. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But for me, I did think it was Muniz sort of desired to chase down everything you saw as soon as he came on. He's like a wound-up puppy ready to go, and I think we needed a little bit of that at that point, if only just to give something a little bit back to us, because at that point we were all just on our knees, just begging for full time. Well, it's funny, isn't it? We were begging for, we did want some minutes for injury time, and then as soon as they score, we're like, fuck, can we actually take those back, please? Can we just blow it now? Oh, God, what a day. What a day.
I mean, I feel like insult to injury was Adama Traore at right back. That'll go down in the annals of history of what the fuck substitutions, and we've seen some good ones down the years. But yeah, that was something else.
Oh yeah, exactly what we needed, wasn't it? Oh, it was really funny as well when he you hark back to you talking about the Premier League compilation, and he dashes down the flank and then just goes out for a goal kick, and we're all just like, oh, and you just think, oh, you could just see like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music would just be playing afterwards, just like classic Adama Traore. Yeah, I don't think it would debut to forget for him. But again, I think people who are coming on that point, I think we're on a bit of a hiding to nothing. But certainly wasn't helped by the positioning. I don't really know that one. I guess he's probably quite versatile, but yeah, not a great advert for him really.
And look, this hurts, right? It hurts losing to Brentford like that. 3-0 at home. It's. They say Fulham get battered wherever we go, and that's exactly what's fucking happened today. Like it's not nice. And look, we've had so much positivity in the last couple of years, and we've got to remember and put this in context, and hopefully it'll just be a blip in what is otherwise a successful season. But this one really, really hurts, and it could have gone another. The only maybe saving grace is that things went against us today. It's not like we got pummeled from minute 1. We were in a game until the 44th minute where we made a stupid mistake. But there's a lot to rectify here, and the extra pain is knowing what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, thank God we won on the opening day. But look, I'm looking for positives here. Imagine if we lost at Goodison, which would, wouldn't be the greatest surprise in the world, and then we won today. Same amount of points. Obviously, there's going to be a difference in momentum and mood and all of that sort of stuff. Same amount of points. So yeah, the next 2 games are going to be really tough. But I think we're at a sort of inflection point here in the summer where we're going to get the Mitrovic money, or we're going to get a large chunk of it, however it's going to be done, and then we're going to have to move, and we're going to have to move quickly. We've got 2 weeks. We all know that Khan see the value in the transfer window at the tail end of the window. So we're always going to do the bulk of our business in the next 2 weeks, probably in the next one after this one. So, but we're now at a point where we have a bit of a wake-up call. Dark days don't define your season. We all have them. Coventry, a couple of Coventry games under Silver, there were some really, really shit games. Obviously, it's not a derby. But I think it's probably the perfect time to have it happen in terms of, a bit of a shot on the arm, a bit of a wake-up call. Let's see what we do in the market. I don't think it spells us being in trouble. I just think it was just a bit of a wake-up call.
Well, let's hope so. As you say, we're in for a tough couple of weeks. Arsenal away, Man City away, the transfer window, and just fingers crossed that we spend this Mitrovic money. The deal feels done, and hopefully we spend it well. And I think maybe the wake-up call today is that I've seen some talk about, look, let's bank the Mitrovic money and maybe let's get a long-term Pelini replacement. No, let's get in a striker. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be En-Nesyri, it could be Armando Broja, it could be Balogun. All 3 have been linked and would be good options. We need to spend the money and we need a striker because this team looks pretty lost without one. And you just feel today, if Mitrovic was on the pitch, if he was fit, would it have been different? I don't know. It certainly would have been a much closer game, and we'd have had a lot more chances than we did.
Yeah, I think we needed a head, a focal point in those first 45. Whereas I keep saying, I really don't think we were under any pressure whatsoever. We had lots of time on the ball. Brentford surprised me in being not really offering too much. So if we had that focal point up top, if we had somebody who knew how to stick it in the onion bag, then I think we could have been a different game. So I think we need it. You can't sell somebody like Mitrovic and not replace him, and we know that, and we also know he's lightning in a bottle, and the chances are, it's going to be difficult to have a once in a decade type talent out of your football club like him. We had it at Sahar once every 20 years, so that's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough act to follow, but we need to put ourselves in the best position by making sure that somebody does follow it.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a day we'll look back on terribly fondly. Hopefully, it's just a blip in what's going to be a great season. But right now, it's a particularly bleak day, really, to be a Fulham fan. But we'll go again, Arsenal next week, and we'll see what happens at the Emirates. You never know. Pull off we still got a 100% record away from home.
Yeah, that's very true, and it gives us a chance to collar a Balogun and just sort of get him to sign the ting, and hopefully we'll bring it back with us, as well as a point or 3. Who knows?
And I just want to say 2 positives to end this. I thought that João Pelini looked really assured when he came on and actually made a difference. So did Calvin Bassey, but also Sasa Lukic, first half, exceptional.
Right, thank you. Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned this, because I did want to talk about it. He was starting to carve out his own role. We always say, some people think he's a Pelini replacement or whatever when he's out injured, but he's not. He's his own player, and he was starting to show it today, threading the defence and attack, and he was always running. I thought he was really good, and I was really pleased to see him carve out his own role and define himself in the side. If he doesn't play every game, fine, he's not going to. We know that, but when he comes in, we know what to expect from him. We're starting to see it, and that was really positive. I agree, 100%.
Nice to end on some positivity. That'll do for the Quick Take Today podcast. We'll be out tomorrow. You Whites.